Okay, hi everyone. So for this sequence of videos, I will be discussing the reheat regenerative cycle. So again, the reheat cycle and the regenerative cycles are just variants of the Rankine cycle. They are improvements on which upon we want to increase the efficiency of the cycle and also possibly uh, for the recycle specifically is to remove this moisture laden portion of the expansion in the turbine. So let's begin with combining these two important modifications in the Rankine cycle, and let's solve them together. No? So the first thing that we should take note of is the simplest version of the heat regenerative cycle. No? So we're talking about the ideal heat regenerative cycle. So for the ideal regenerative cycle, it might be a different um, scenario or case here. But let's pick this specific case. No? So as you can see, there are different, there might be different, what to call this, setup to this, depending on the, the problem. No? But again, no, we'll start with something simple. No? Okay, so for this one, if you can remember, the regenerative cycle will have an open heater. No? But in this case, what if we have also a reheater included with the regenerator, no? So steam will go from 1 to 2, no? Wherein 2 will be in the regenerative, no, portion. So if 2 is of higher pressure than 3, then 2 will happen first, no? So usually the 2, the states or the numbering of states is usually incorporate we usually incorporate the pressure differences. One is usually the highest, two and the subsequent values will be lower, no? So it is continuously expanded, no? So anyways, so for this example, steam from 1, no? So we have 1 kilogram of steam entering at this state 1 to the turbine. So in the turbine, you can partially expand the turbine at some pressure from 2 to 7, no? Which is supplied to the open heater. So as you can see, it will be expanded from 1 to 2 and then partially bled, no, by M, no, by the mass fraction of M. And then what you can do, no, you can fully expand it into 0.3. Actually, there should be still a pressure here, which is the pressure of reheating, no. So this is the pressure of reheating. This is the same pressure, no. So P 3 to 4 is actually constant, no. So P3 and 4 is actually constant. Hmm? And it will be reheated, at constant pressure again, no. So it might be of different temperature, it might be of lower temperature than 0.1, or it might be the same temperature or even higher temperature depending on the scenario. And then it will be bled again, sorry, not bled, but expanded again into the turbine from this intermediate pressure, no? 3 and 4 into the condenser pressure or condensing pressure at 0.5. So how many pressures do we have? We have 4 pressures. We have the high pressure, no, the boiler pressure, the lowest pressure, which is the condenser pressure, and the two intermediate pressures, no. So this is the regenerative pressure and this is the reheating pressure, no. Okay, so after it is expanded, it's typically the same thing that we've done before. We can pump the fluid, no, from the saturated liquid into the compressed liquid state. So 6 to B6. And then the open heater is the B6 to 7, and then pumped again from 7 to B7, and then heated from B7 to 1. Okay. So if you do the heat balances, no, and or energy balances, basically it's still the same thing. If we compare this to the heat and regenerative cycle, I forgot to mention pala, no? I forgot to mention the mass fraction, no? So this is still the same mass fraction. 1 kilogram enters from 1 to 2, no? So actually from B7 to 2, it is 1 kilogram, and then a fraction of it will be bled by M, no? M fraction. So the 2 to 3 here actually is already 1 minus M. So 2 to 3 is 1 minus M. 3 minus 4, 1 minus m, 1 minus m, 1 minus m, up to B6 to 7, no? It will still be 1 minus m. Okay, so we have to take into account the mass balance, no? The mass that is flowing through your node, no? Or through your processes. So in this case, we have the turbine. If you do an energy balance, we can see that the total turbine work is just equal to the summation of the stages, no? So if we have here from this schematic diagram, the TS diagram, so you have the first stage, which is 1 to 2 of expansion. So the mass flow rate is 1, and then you have 2 to 3 for the second stage. The mass flow rate here is 1 minus m, no? And then you have the third stage, which is from 4 to 5. So the mass flow rate is still 1 minus m, no? So therefore, the total turbine work will be equal to H1 minus H2 plus 1 minus m multiplied by H2 minus H3, and then plus 1 minus m multiplied by H4 minus H5. Okay, so for the boiler steam generator, or the steam generator, we have a QA, no, which is equal to, of course, the H1 minus B7. So H1 minus B7 is just one mass, no, because it is not yet not yet bled, no, the steam is not yet bled. And then plus the number of reheating stages as well, no. So we have one reheating stages here, so that will be just this stage here. So H1 minus HB7 can be rewritten as H1 minus H7 minus pump work 2. Plus, so the reheating stage here, as you can see, no, let's see the diagram again. So from 3 to 4, the mass flow rate in 3 to 4 is 1 minus m, no? So therefore, this will be 1 minus 4, no? And then the difference in enthalpy is 4 minus H3. Okay, now, let's check also the condenser. So the condenser will have this heat balance, no? So what enters this condenser will have a mass fraction of 1 minus m, and then the difference in enthalpy. Okay, for the open heater, so we have an open heater as well. So this again, the general formula for solving the mass fraction bled by the steam, by the turbine. Okay, so in this case, we have H7 minus HB6 over H2 minus HB6. So if you forget this one, you can just do the energy balance to have the equation for the mass balance, no? Okay, so for the last one, we have the pump work. So the pump work here is we have two pumps, no? For if you have one regenerative stage, no, then how many pumps do you need is you have to make pumps, no? So the first pump and the second pump, no? Okay, so we are usually interested with approximate pump works. So pump work 1, so this will be 6 to B6. So PB6 minus P6, no? And then the entry specific volume. For pump work 2, 7 to B7, so the difference in pressure, and then the entry specific volume. For the total pump work, no? We have to consider the entry specific volume multiplied by the difference in pressures from the lowest pressure to the highest pressure, which is PB7 minus P6. Okay, so now we want to find the net work, no, or the net cycle work. We can just subtract the turbine work and the pump work. So as you can remember, we have the turbine work here. There's three terms, the first three terms, and the pump work is just this last term here. For the thermal efficiency, so at this point, I believe you're already familiar with this. So you can just solve for the network over the heat added, or you can just solve this directly, using the given enthalpies and the mass fractions and the pump work. Okay, so that's it for heat regenerative cycle. So actually, there are a lot of things that you have to consider here for a more advanced setups for heat regenerative. But given the time, we don't really have much time at this point. So we can just start first with the basic ones, no? And we can just work this out further down the line na lang, no, in the future. So that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll have one example for the heat regenerative cycle.